I'm Cindy Hedrick, and I'm going to be reading some stories to you from Tales from Essie Cares. And we're going to start with Chapter 1. This story is about Savannah, a blue and gold macaw. These stories are meant to inspire others to realize that animals are sentient beings who during their lifetimes can suffer from trauma through difficult circumstances and carry with them emotional scars and psychological issues, just as people do. This brings me to Savannah, the inspiration for Essie Cares. Prior to opening Essie Cares in 2006, Skip and I worked with a wildlife rehab group in North Carolina. Unfortunately, it was not just native wildlife we received calls for. There were so many exotic animal calls. Before I turn the page, I'll show you. This is Savannah. There were so many exotic animal calls that many of us as volunteers had started taking some of these creatures in that had nowhere to go into our homes. The need is what created the concept for Essie Cares. One call came from animal control asking if we could help a blue and gold macaw that had been confiscated by officers due to animal abuse. Apparently, a family had separated and were preparing for divorce. After a custody battle, the mother obtained custody of the children, but no one wanted the macaw. The father, who was stuck with the bird, upset about losing his children, and he took his distraught emotions out on the bird. According to the report filed by a neighbor, he put the blue and gold macaw in the dark basement, barely keeping her alive. When she would call out, as parrots do, when they want or need attention, he would throw items down the stairs at the cage, or go to the cage yelling at the bird to shut up and shake it, which is called earthquaking, and even took a spray bottle with the sprayer on stream to squirt the parrot, which is painful to our thin-skinned feathered friend. Due to lack of positive attention, being alone, and stress from the abuse, Savannah began to pull her feathers out. No charges were filed against this man for animal abuse on the condition he give up the bird to authorities, which of course he eagerly agreed to do, as he did not want the parrot. It was sad that animal abuse occurs for so many creatures, even worse for these exotics that most people do not understand to begin with. Macaws are the largest parrots in the exotic pet bird industry. I'll show you these pictures. Savannah after we gave her a bath, and this is her back where she had pulled feathers. These birds are normally found in Central and South America. These magnificent creatures have been captured and bred to produce profits for the pet bird industry. Macaws have the capability to be very loud, very destructive, and potentially extremely dangerous. With a bite pressure of close to 300 pounds per square inch, 300 psi, they could bite your finger off, bone and all. Living with a macaw is like having a loud 3-year-old toddler for 80 to 100 years, which is their lifespan. Parrots are very social creatures in need of friendship, stimulation to reduce boredom, and space to play. Parrots will self-mutilate by plucking their feathers out, similar to nervous conditions that we as humans suffer from, such as nail biting or hair pulling. Parrots often will not stop at feather plucking, but will mutilate the skin as well, which is even more critical and leads to infection and sometimes death. It's sad that Savannah was so upset that she would pull out her own feathers, leaving the very skin-thin vulnerable. After some time, feather plucking will cause the follicle to simply close, and no new feather growth will occur ever again. After taking Savannah in, our paperwork showed that she was hatched in 1956, making her 57 years old and the eldest macaw at Essie Cares. This also means that the previous family she lived with was more than likely a second or third home for her. Savannah has stopped plucking, and so thankfully she will not cause any further damage to her body. Savannah was most definitely an inspiration to us to create the sanctuary known as Essie Cares. And there's the last couple of